Have you ever taken last night's leftovers out of the fridge, put them in the microwave, and thought, food is food, right? Just heat it up and eat. What if I told you that some of the foods we casually reheat every day could quietly increase health risks over time? And I'm not talking about rare or exotic foods. I'm talking about things sitting in millions of refrigerators right now, foods people reheat without thinking twice. Doctors and food safety experts have been warning about certain reheated foods because the heating process can change their chemical structure, grow harmful bacteria, or create compounds that may increase long-term disease risk, including cancer. In the previous video, we talked about some common foods that should never be reheated carelessly. But today we're going deeper. These are 5 more foods many people reheat every day, thinking it's completely harmless. And number 4 on this list might surprise you because almost everyone reheats it regularly without realizing what can happen inside their body. So before you warm up your next leftover meal, stay with me until the end of this video because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you handle food in your kitchen. Let's start with something extremely common in households around the world: rice. Rice seems harmless. It's simple, comforting, and part of daily meals for billions of people. Many families cook a large pot of rice and store the rest for the next day. Then when it's time to eat again, they simply reheat it in the microwave or on the stove. But what most people don't realize is that cooked rice can become a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria if it's not stored properly before reheating. There is a bacterium called Bacillus cereus that naturally lives in uncooked rice grains. When rice is cooked, most bacteria die, but the spores of this bacterium can survive the cooking process. Now here's where the problem begins. If cooked rice sits at room temperature for too long before being refrigerated, those spores can grow into bacteria and produce toxins. And once those toxins form, reheating the rice may not destroy them. That means you could heat the rice until it's steaming hot and still consume toxins that may cause food poisoning symptoms like vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. Now you might be thinking, okay, that sounds like food poisoning, but what does that have to do with cancer risk? The issue is that repeated exposure to certain bacterial toxins and chronic digestive inflammation over time may contribute to long-term health problems. Some research suggests that chronic inflammation in the digestive system can increase the risk of various diseases, including certain cancers. The key here isn't that rice itself is dangerous. Rice is perfectly healthy when handled correctly. The real danger comes from leaving cooked rice sitting out for hours, then reheating it multiple times over several days. The safest way to handle rice is simple. After cooking, let it cool quickly and place it in the refrigerator within 1 hour. When reheating, heat it thoroughly and avoid reheating the same rice more than once. Now let's move to the next food that people reheat almost automatically: mushrooms. Mushrooms are packed with nutrients. They contain protein, fiber, vitamins, and powerful antioxidants. Many doctors actually recommend mushrooms as part of a healthy diet. But reheating mushrooms can sometimes cause problems because of the way their proteins and compounds break down after cooking. When mushrooms are cooked and then left sitting for long periods before reheating, their proteins can start to degrade. During reheating, these changes may create compounds that irritate the digestive system. Some food safety experts also warn that reheated mushrooms may produce oxidation products that can contribute to cellular stress in the body. Cellular stress, also known as oxidative stress, is one of the processes linked to aging and disease development. Over long periods, oxidative stress has been associated with conditions including heart disease and certain cancers. Again, this doesn't mean mushrooms are bad for you. Freshly cooked mushrooms are extremely healthy. The problem arises when they are cooked, stored improperly, and reheated repeatedly. If you cook mushrooms, it's best to eat them immediately. If you must store them, refrigerate them quickly and reheat them only once at a proper temperature. Now let's talk about a food many people consider healthy and often cook in large batches: spinach. Spinach is known as a superfood. It's full of vitamins, minerals, iron, and powerful plant compounds that support overall health. But spinach also naturally contains nitrates. On their own, nitrates are not harmful. In fact, many vegetables contain them naturally, and they can even have beneficial effects on blood circulation. However, when spinach is cooked and then reheated, those nitrates can convert into nitrites and other compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are substances that scientists have studied for decades because some of them are known to be carcinogenic in certain conditions. This chemical transformation doesn't always happen dramatically, but repeated reheating and improper storage may increase the chance of these compounds forming. That's why many nutritionists suggest avoiding reheating leafy greens like spinach multiple times. The safest way to enjoy spinach is to cook only the portion you plan to eat. If you do have leftovers, store them in the refrigerator immediately and reheat them just once. Now we're getting to the food that surprises a lot of people. Chicken. Chicken is one of the most popular protein sources in the world. It's lean, affordable, and incredibly versatile. But reheating chicken can sometimes lead to problems related to protein structure and bacteria growth. When chicken is cooked and then cooled slowly, bacteria can multiply if the food sits in the danger zone temperature range between about 5 degrees and 60 degrees C for too long. Reheating chicken kills most bacteria, but if toxins have already formed, heat may not eliminate them completely. Another concern is that reheating chicken repeatedly can change the structure of its proteins, which may make it harder for some people to digest. Poor digestion over long periods can lead to inflammation in the digestive tract, and chronic inflammation has been linked in scientific research to increased disease risk. But the bigger issue with chicken is improper storage before reheating. If leftover chicken sits out too long or is reheated multiple times, the risk of bacterial contamination increases significantly. The safest approach is to refrigerate cooked chicken within 2 hours, store it in airtight containers, and reheat it thoroughly only once before eating. And now we come to the final food on this list, cooking oils. This one is extremely important because many people reuse and reheat cooking oil over and over again, especially when frying foods. When oil is heated to high temperatures, its chemical structure begins to break down. The more times oil is reheated, the more it degrades. During this breakdown, harmful compounds can form, including aldehydes and other oxidation products. Some studies have shown that certain aldehydes produced from repeatedly heated oils may damage cells and DNA. Over time, this type of damage may contribute to increased cancer risk. This is particularly common in street food cooking, fast food kitchens, and even home kitchens, where the same oil is used again and again. Deep frying in reused oil can create an environment where these harmful compounds accumulate in the food being cooked. The safest habit is to avoid reheating oil multiple times. If you fry food, use fresh oil whenever possible and discard oil that has already been used at high temperatures. Also, choose oils with higher heat stability, such as olive oil or avocado oil, instead of oils that break down easily. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, does this mean we should never eat leftovers again? Not at all. Leftovers can be perfectly safe and even convenient when handled properly. The real lesson here is about food handling, storage, and reheating habits. Most problems don't come from the food itself. They come from leaving food out too long, storing it incorrectly, or reheating it multiple times over several days. Here are a few simple habits that can dramatically reduce food safety risks in your kitchen. Always refrigerate cooked food within 1 to 2 hours. Store leftovers in airtight containers to prevent bacterial growth. Avoid reheating the same food more than once. Heat leftovers thoroughly until they are steaming hot before eating. And whenever possible, cook fresh portions instead of repeatedly reheating older meals. These small changes might seem simple, but they can make a huge difference in protecting your health over time. Remember, our daily habits shape our long-term health more than we realize. The foods we eat, the way we store them, and the way we prepare them all play a role in how our bodies respond over the years. Food should nourish the body, not quietly harm it because of small mistakes in the kitchen. And the good news is that most of these risks are completely preventable once you understand what's happening behind the scenes. If this video opened your eyes to something new, make sure you stay tuned, because in the next episode, we'll reveal even more surprising foods that experts say you should be careful reheating. Some of them are probably sitting in your refrigerator right now. And before you leave, take a moment to think about your own kitchen habits. Do you reheat leftovers multiple times? Do you leave food on the counter too long before putting it in the fridge? Small adjustments today could protect your health for years to come. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming health and nutrition videos. And if you know someone who reheats leftovers every day without thinking twice, share this video with them. It might be the information that helps them make safer choices in the kitchen. Your health is built on everyday decisions, even the ones that seem as simple as reheating last night's dinner.